guys, look at this picture of me and my friends at my birthday party. A lot of people had showed up.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of people. Y'all look like you're having a lot of fun. But I don't know how y'all aren't sneezing.
Why would they be sneezing?
They would be sneezing from all the cedar trees. Look in the background. I am really allergic to cedar. I get a stuffy nose, headaches, and I can't breathe.
That is so horrible. I'm very sorry.
Since you're allergic, you have probably heard of the native species juniper trees or red cedar. They look similar to Christmas trees. They're in the pines family and live in our area.
Yeah, I have seen them all around. I've also heard a lot of people talking about cedar eradication.
Cedar eradication is the process of removing 90% of juniper trees and red cedar in and around the area.
Yes, that's right. A lot of people think that removing any type of tree would be a bad idea. But by removing cedar and juniper trees, it would better improve our environment by transforming it into a healthier place to live in.
My dad works in the agricultural department and agrees that removing 90% of cedar trees would benefit us in a lot of helpful ways.
I have been researching and learned that this agricultural issue has some pros and cons. The con is if 90% of the cedar trees are removed, soil erosion will occur and the soil will lose nutrients.
Another con is when the pine needles fall from the trees. It will absorb some of the water and will soak into our aquifers, making it hard for us to pull water to use.
The last con I've heard about is that some tree species need cedar to grow. So taking them away from the environment would make it hard for them to grow and could decrease the populations of the trees in our area.
Well, on the other hand, I have learned some pros because it is not all about cons. First, cedar trees take 30% of our rainfall, and mature cedar trees pull about 7 gallons of water per day from the soil. So by removing them, they will cause less droughts and the soil will have plenty of water.
And I know that we all love the lake, so by removing some of the cedar trees, it will cause less droughts and also the soil will have plenty of water and be full of nutrients.
Over here, we have our models to show how much water we would save by getting rid of cedar trees.
The model with only one cedar tree is the land that had been eradicated. As you can see, it has about 3 times as much water than the one that hasn't been eradicated.
I am pretty sure that cedar trees are also an invasive species taking over lots of land and property. They also shade out over other plants, making it hard for them to grow and hard to plant trees.
Yes, that is correct. For those who do not know what an invasive species is, it's an organism that invades and spreads around the environment. It lives and causes damage to the human economy, human health, and damage the environment.
Yep, damaging human health is right for the millions of people that have cedar allergies. But if we remove them, I won't get sick anymore, and everyone will be healthy and happy.
When the trees are cut down, we would recycle the wood and use it in houses, roofs, use the soap sap to make bug repellent, and many other useful things.
Wow, that is so awesome. I didn't know that. Is there anything else that's important about cedar eradication?
Well, there is a lot of history about cedar trees that dates back to the early 1800s when Native Americans lived in the hill country. This plant has been around for a long time.
First of all, cedar trees can be removed with fire, be cut down, or be chemically removed with herbicides.
When the invasive species became overpopulated, the Native Americans would set numerous fires which filled grasslands and engulfed trees to keep the populations controlled. But this was not a one-time job. They did this multiple times to keep control of the population of cedar trees.
Speaking of burning down the cedar trees, why do we invest money for a company to remove them when we could just burn them down?
That's a good question. The county and other areas stopped burning the trees down because they started to turn into uncontrollable forest fires, burning down more than the trees themselves, causing worry and concern with the people and their homes.
Now, the alternate way to remove them is cutting the trees down or getting chemicals to remove them. There are companies all around that remove trees as their job and places that have herbicides to also remove the trees.
When cutting down cedar trees, remember, you have to cut below the lowest exposed bud on the tree. If you don't, the cedar trees will grow back. Now here's a question. Has anybody seen cedar eradication happening?
I have. Last week when I was in Kerrville, I saw the company Cedar Eaters removing some of the cedar trees by the side of the road.
I think that we will start seeing a lot more of that because most people are for removing cedar trees. I have talked to people from extension offices and they also say that there are more pros than cons when it comes to removing cedar.
Yep, I agree with Summer. I have also been seeing cedar eradication happening.
The state of Texas has had a cedar control program that has been around since the early 1900s, which helps fund the removal of cedar trees or species that take in lots of water.
The program removed the invasive species from around the lakes and streams. They revived more than 67.5 billion gallons of water on the cleared areas.
Wow, that is a whole lot of water. And most of those clearings happen in the hill country area.
If you only clear as little as 3 acres of cedar, it can generate 325,851 gallons of water savings annually.
We have learned so much today. Why don't we do a quick recap over what we have learned?
Great, let's do it. Okay, first of all, cedar eradication is the process of removing 90% of cedar and red cedar trees in and around the area.
The cedar tree is a native invasive species that lives in and around our area and takes over lots of the land.
Some of the pros of removing cedar trees are there will be less droughts, cedar allergies will be lower, cleaner aquifers in the area, gets rid of invasive species, and more organic matter in the soil.
Now here are the cons for removing cedar trees. There will be soil erosion, the soil will lose nutrients, the pine needle soak into the aquifers when it rains, and some tree species need cedar to grow, and those species might die off.
The Native Americans that lived in the hill country would set large and numerous fires that would help control the population over the cedar trees, and it will decrease the chance of species becoming overpopulated.
We have been seeing cedar eradication happening more often around the area, and we think that we will continue to keep seeing it because there are more pros and cons in this agricultural issue.
By removing cedar trees, billions of gallons of water have been revived annually around the state of Texas.
Well, I think that we have covered everything for our recap. I think that this agricultural issue was very fun and interesting to learn about.
I agree. Now we can all be on the lookout for cedar eradication happening around the area. Thank you.
Good job.